Like, it's crazy, man. I had three items that I purchased, and then
Yeah,
maybe a fourth shortly thereafter. But I had a white T-shirt with a logo on it. You could wear that with anything. This rugby style polo shirt with like thick stripes. There was burgundy, navy, and then like this little thin mustard yellow stripe coming through it. And the what really tied it together was the the flare jeans. I was wearing a pair of Bar Star flare jeans. And then if that wasn't enough, because like again, I started working there in the summer in Raleigh, it's hot.
yeah,
The stores were not cool. I mean, they were cool, but they weren't temperature cool. So I got a
yeah.
pair of cargo shorts. I think just khaki cargo shorts, which I'm fairly confident I still have to this day. They became my painting shorts after like that wasn't cool anymore to wear cargo shorts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I paired those up as well. What do you remember wearing in the early days?
Same thing, like bar star flares. Um, it was some t-shirts, and they had to be tucked in. Like you had to tuck in that front so you could show the belt off, of course. Um, but then polos, like
Yeah.
that was also they were kind of transitioning into, and I don't remember exactly what year, but they were transitioning and starting to put a little logo like right there
Like
on the
Polo does. I'm not
like a
saying
polo.
like which brand, but like what Polo does with the Polo, the jockey on the horse.
Yeah,
Every
yeah,
brand started doing that. It's like, oh,
yes,
Polo's, Ralph Lauren, they've nailed it. Why don't
yeah,
we just throw one here too? And
yep,
absolutely.
yeah. And so definitely remember bunches of those, and collar had to be popped as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Multiple
and
polos
then
at the same time.
at the same time, there may or may not be a picture of us floating around wearing some polos, wearing some jean shorts, some
What
jorts.
were these jean shorts that were sold in the store, or what was the how did these come about? That doesn't seem very on brand
No, no,
for men.
they were jeans from there, but they weren't jorts that were sold by that company. They were homemade jorts. Uh, but no,
Do you
going back
remember?
to like, oh yeah, go.
Do you remember how like your first pair of jorts was started? Like what prompted you to make them?
It was a conversation with you, like, but I
Do you
don't
know,
remember what.
do you know where mine came from?
What? Where?
I was wearing the very same Barstar Flare jeans, which I still to this day have. And I was walking through the stockroom, and you have the racks that are rolling. So like in the stockroom, it's a whole different
Yeah,
world back there.
yeah,
Whole different world, different people.
yeah,
There's people eating food, there's managers making schedules. So I go back there, I'm walking by, I'm in a rush, and they're flare jeans. They're wide leg, they're coming out. I'm walking by one of the rolling racks, and the corner of my jeans gets caught on like the stopper that held them in place and
yeah.
just ripped it. So now, so now I have a pair of flare jeans that are ripped from about my ankle bone to mid calf, and I'm like, these I can't do anything with this anymore. This is like a $70 pair of jeans. And so I got the bright idea of like shorts. You cut those legs off and then make them into shorts. So I wore them into the store, I think, as a joke, and then continued to wear
Yeah.
them all the places, also as a joke, but it was fun. And it brought some fun attention to everything that was going on.
Well, the later iteration of the jorts was uh, there. Yeah, it was fun times.
Yeah.
Fun times wearing some jorts around.
Yeah.
But I think I still have a pair or two or three of some cargo shorts as well. Because yes, again, like they wanted you to wear the denim, but then at the same time, like it's so ungodly hot. So like you would like once you got into like June, July, August, wearing the cargo shorts was perfectly acceptable. as long as you were wearing rainbow flip flops. Um,
Yeah.
so, and at a certain point, I may even still have the belts of the cargo shorts because remember they
Oh,
came with the belts
yeah.
on them. So yeah, and then you had this like super long canvas belt that like almost hung down as long as the shorts did.
Nice.
Uh, yeah, yeah. So I remember those, and then you get button ups every once in a while, but those are more like fall winter
Yeah.
staples.
We'll get there. We'll get into the sweaters. We'll get
Yeah.
into
Oh yeah.
the jackets. Um, gosh, man, the sweaters alone is a whole topic. But
I still have my favorite sweater to one of my favorite sweaters to this day. I still have from there.
well, unfortunately, one of my favorite sweaters was a casualty of just like I'll leave it for another day. But here's a teaser. At one point, when I was working at the same brand, different store in Atlanta, Georgia, a famous rapper or hip hop R&B artist came into the store. You might know him. His name is Usher. He came
Oh
into the store and wanted to purchase a sweater off of one of the mannequins. And as you very well know,
yeah.
Mr. We didn't sell anything off the mannequins. So he said,
Nope.
"Where's that sweater?" And I said, "You can order it online." And he's like, "What about that one?" And I said, "You can't have it." And he's like, he just
I'm
looked at me.
Usher.
He looked at me like I had two heads. And and I was like, "I can't sell it." And so he bought a couple things, and lo and behold, after the merchandise came off of the mannequins, it pretty much got marked down and then sent to outlet stores because at that
Yeah.
point it's been on the mannequins for so long. Well, before we'd ship it out to mannequins, if you knew the stockroom manager well enough, you could be like, "Hey, where's that going? I want to buy it." So this $300+ sweater, hand knit wool sweater, grandpa style cardigan that
And it was
Usher wanted,
brown. It
brown,
was
yeah,
brown. Yeah.
that Usher wanted to buy. I bought. It was marked down to 39.99 or 95. I don't know if it was like, I don't know if I don't remember if our prices
I
ended in
don't.
time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But anyway, it was basically $40, and I bought it. Uh, and actually, I think the red lines were discounted at that time, so it was even less. So
Yeah.
I got the sweater that Usher wanted for super cheap, and that's my story.
Oh, Usher, you can't have this. This is mine. uh, um, but I do remember though, like they used to send us specific things to put on mannequins that like weren't in
Never
the
sell.
system
Yeah,
that you really couldn't sell. And then
yeah.
when it came off, you like had to damage it out. But then I think eventually, yeah, like they would send us things, and then like you could, it was in your system. But like in the early days, like when we very first started, because that was later on when you were down in Georgia,
Yeah.
you were a manager by that point.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Big time.
yeah, but no, early on they would send specific items that you didn't even carry in the store, but they wanted it on like that one mannequin on that one table, and you couldn't take it off of that because if you did, it messed up everything, and
Things
the
gone.
world came to an end. Yeah, yeah. So, um, yeah, I remember those days.
You know what? This is something that I haven't thought about in a very long time, and like just reliving these memories just reminds me of this. But if an item didn't have a SKU, there was something that you could enter in the computer. Do you remember what it's called?
No.
The dump SKU. So
Oh yeah. Okay.
you could
Yeah.
just type like nine a bunch of times, and it was just like a dump SKU, and then you could enter in any price for it. So that's what ended up happening is like some of these crazy one-off items. You'd be like, "Hey, Bobo, how do I ring this up?" He's like, "Dump SKU," and you just hit nine,
That's right. That's right. That's
and
right. Dump. Yeah. Yeah.
then you'd ring it up and for whatever price. And then like, "How much do I charge for this?" He's like, $90. And like, I really do think that they just made it up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How many dollars are we short of last year's sales? $90. Good.
They didn't look at last year's sales. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, that's just an imaginary number that we just we try to get, but we never will.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh,
I actually had a manager tell me that in my early days after, and like in retrospect, thinking about like they were supposed to empower us to be good part-time associates. And I asked one time to a specific manager that you definitely know, what is LY? And he goes, don't worry about it. It's just a number that they want us to hit that we're never going to hit.
oh, and folks, that is what you get when you hire kids straight out of college and give them literally no training
Don't worry
whatsoever.
about it. No, you don't need to know about this.
Y'all,
It's
y'all need to know about that.
not important. Not important. Yeah, that's crazy, man. So many things.
I know.
Ridiculous. But yeah, so what I guess this is also a preview of like what we're going to get into in the future. I have some topics written down. We'd love to hear from the community what y'all want to hear about. If you've worked in retail, we're going to talk about fitting rooms. We're going to talk about returns. We're going to continue to talk about cleaning the store. We're going to talk about corporate visits. We're going to talk about recruiting. We're going to talk about things that are outside the store. We're going to talk about the food court. We're going to talk about laps around the, like, this is also recruiting, but laps around the mall to recruit. And if you actually were doing that or just like not doing anything.
Walking around the mall.
um, what else, man? There's so many topics. Overnights. We're going to talk about floor sets. We're going to talk about mannequins and styling and why I should never be in charge of styling mannequins because I kind of have ADHD and it would take me 3 hours to perfect one mannequin, whereas you could do it in like minutes and it would look perfect with
Yeah,
with the scrunches in the right places and the
the little rolls.
flipped in the back. Yeah, like you get the little. All right, let's get some good rolls on there. Let's get the right.
He's got to have those abs. He's got to have those abs.
Let's get the let's scrunch the jeans. Let's scrunch the corduroys.
Yeah,
Um, man, we're going to talk about holidays. We're going to talk about gift cards. We're going to talk about disgruntled customers. We're going to talk about disgruntled employees. Y'all are in for a bit of a treat. Like, I think so much, like, again, just me alone, 14 years in retail from 2002 to 2016. I held titles of part time associate, assistant manager, floor supervisor, store manager, recruiter. I mean, you name it. Like we've both worked in multiple retail store locations.
yeah,
I think different experiences at each, um, but also similarities, right? And so I can connect so well with my restaurant people, my industry, like restaurant people, servers, bartenders, all that, because like we lived a different version of the same journey, right? And
yeah,
you did both, so I think you
yeah.
could speak to that more than I could.
I did both at the same
At the
time. So
same
yeah,
time. Yeah, at the same time. That's
yeah,
crazy. And we'll talk about things outside of the four walls, the brick and mortar. The
yeah.
managers would get together, we'd have parties, we'd go out and get drinks, we'd go to football games and basketball games, and there's so much, there's so much
Concerts,
well,
concerts.
we don't have to talk about the concerts.
no, no, we'll talk about at least one.
We'll touch on a few of those, but
Yeah,
and then so many years of just good times. I can't tell you how many people that I met throughout the years that I still keep in touch with. Some at a very minimal level, others still pretty close. Like we're still, although our distance is pretty far apart, we still stay close.
yeah.
You how do I put this? You flood my inbox with reels every day, which are
yeah,
hilarious. Sometimes I can't keep up, and I get to them when I can. But we built these amazing memories, and um, yeah, just I wouldn't. I don't know that I'd say I wouldn't change anything about them, but at the same point, I'm in the vein of if I did change any of those situations or moments, I wouldn't be exactly where I am right now today. And I kind of like where I'm
Yeah.
at. So
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
decision or two I'd probably change though, for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you talk about the relationships and stuff like that. I mean, there's a pretty big one for you, like that, you know, you wouldn't have a daughter without,
Exactly.
that
I
relationship.
was married for 9 years to my daughter's mother, and I would not have my daughter if it wasn't for that experience. And I definitely wouldn't trade anything for that
Yeah.
experience.
But
To me.
also without working in retail and working for that company, you wouldn't have met your daughter's mother
Right.
because that's where you met her.
Yeah.
Same company you met me. It was in a different state, but yeah, if we didn't work for that company, you would never have met her. So,
And
um,
isn't it ironic that we started our career, well, I started my career working with you together, but you ended up working with my daughter's mother at another retail store. Like it
yeah,
just
yeah,
the retail world is a small world, but also very vast. And
yeah,
you run similar circles. You listen to music. You listen to similar music at different places, and we'll definitely touch on that
oh yeah,
on an episode in the future, because there's a lot of really good tracks that we gained, and a lot of really terrible music that we had to just grit and bear it through.
yeah.
But yeah, there's so much, man, so much. I don't know. Anything else you want to cover?
Mm,
Episode 0.
episode 0? No, I guess not. I mean, like, the last thing in terms of relationships, like, yeah, we're still close. Like, we still talk, not as frequently as we probably both like, other than my endless sending of Instagram reels. Um, but I mean, like, to your point though, there are so many people that still to this day, like, still friends with, still communicate with. Um, Not that long ago, we went to one of our friends that we met there's wedding. Um, so I mean, it's like, and that was, we met that person 20 years ago, probably, so 20 years, and we're still friends with her. We're still like going to her wedding, sort of a thing. So,
I walked her mother down the aisle
yeah,
because
yeah,
she has a dad and a stepdad, and they both wanted to walk her down the aisle, and so they were thinking of who can we get, and I was honored to be able to walk her down the aisle, her mother down the aisle, not her,
yeah,
but
yeah.
her mother
That
down the
would have
aisle.
been awkward.
Yeah. Excuse me, coming through. But yeah, man, it's crazy. The the power of, like, we we went through like stressful times, and it was truly, honestly, blood, sweat, and tears. Putting shelving up, there was blood. There
Oh,
was
definitely.
there was definitely tears from time to time, and there was absolutely sweat, especially like when the AC would turn off at night.
Yeah,
Like
when you're doing
the
overnights. Yep.
AC would turn off, and you're like, well, we're still here. We're
I
doing
still need you to fold that table of shirts
it. Yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah.
Redo them.
It wasn't the cool take your shirt off and stand in the front of the store. It was like, take your shirt off because you're about to die. Attack.
Right.
Um, so yeah. Also, I think we forgot to kind of introduce ourselves at the beginning of the podcast. So like maybe let's go ahead and say, like, who you are, um, where you're from, where you're living right now, and maybe we'll put that in the beginning, or we'll just keep it at the end. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, age before beauty, so I'll go first. So, hi guys. My name's Josh. We got two last names, no last names. Well, you already
First name's
called my
fine.
last.
Yeah, first name's
You
not.
already
First
called.
name's
You already
fine.
threw my last name out in the middle of the episode, anyway. But
I'm going to refer to you as Lambeth, but that could just be a nickname. So anyway, we're going to keep all this in here, by the way. We're not cutting any of this. This is Josh. Keep going.
yeah. So this is Josh. So pretty much born and raised Raleigh, North Carolina. Spent a small bit of time in college at East Carolina, so I was down in Greenville. But then came back, went to school at NC State, and again, that's you know tangentially where I met this gentleman on the other end of the Zoom call. But yeah, so been working in retail for most of my life. And like we said before, or we'll say later, however we're going to edit this together, started in like late 90s, early 2000s in retail. But currently I live in a little town right outside of Raleigh called Garner, North Carolina. It's where all the country folk live, but it's growing vastly. There's probably 5 neighborhoods being built simultaneously around me, and they're knocking down trees for like 2 other neighborhoods, so it's insane. Insane here. But that's anything else about me? I don't know.
We'll get to it. I think that's
Yeah, we'll get to
we'll get to it.
that's
Yeah. So
that's good.
I'm Jacob, born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I don't really claim that much more other than like being a bit of a Steelers fan. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So most of my life I grew up in Jamestown, North Carolina, wedged right in between High Point and Greensboro. High Point's the furniture capital of America, I believe.
Of the world.
World, son. And then yeah, went to NC State for college in Raleigh. Met this guy shortly after Raleigh. After finishing up school, went to Atlanta, Georgia. Moved back to Raleigh, Charlotte for a bit, and that's where the retail career ended. Is in Charlotte, North Carolina, in 2016. Then I moved to Australia for almost a year, and then to Austin, Texas, and now I live right outside of Houston, Texas. A little bit of town called Spring, buddy boy. It's nice, it's quiet, it's exactly what I need, and it's quite lovely. If anyone is in Spring, Texas, come through, say hi. I'll buy you a taco or some brisket or pour you a drink or something. Well, it's a good spot. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, episode 0. That's I think we can put a bow on it, if I may.
Only if it's a red bow that you have to tie around a stack of cologne and or
Yeah.
during
Both
Christmas
gift
time.
sets. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Put your finger right here. I need you to tie them. What's your? Can you run fitting rooms? Mm-mm. How about? Can you fold this? No. All right. Give me your finger. Put it right here. We definitely had some people at that level of like,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
they're not going to be super beneficial for us. Yeah, man. So much more to get into. Fragrance, like colognes. Uh, Again, I think I talked about holidays earlier, but like that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Sales, we didn't talk about that. Markdowns, red lines, dude, sky's the limit. Gift card wars, athletic leagues, like basketball and or football. We played, I think, at certain times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, so many things.
Road trips.
Road trips, which we alluded to with the Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. Well, that was
That's one. That's one.
yeah. There are multiple upon multiple different road trips. Some that involve us together. Some that involve us getting to the same location at a different time. And then having shenanigans surrounding that. Because I did visit Jacob when he was down in Atlanta, Georgia, at one of his stores, and that road trip was a unique one to say the least.
Freestyle rapping.
Oh God!
There exists somewhere a cassette tape or a VHS tape from.
But no, it's not a VHS. It's the smaller version of the VHS.
Mini VHS.
Yeah.
Whatever you call that. I think my buddy Mills has a way to like surface it. So maybe we should unbox that on an episode. Like if we're gonna do it, we should do it raw and just like.
I don't know if we want that. I don't know. I don't know.
Or maybe like just like give it a quick preview and then just like hey, this happened. But I do recall some freestyle rapping,
Yeah,
other types of things involving vitamin C,
but I
and
was gonna say vitamin C.
it was a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot more to cover. Uh, Anything else for the viewers before we wrap things up, Mr. Joshua?
No, yeah. Other than Riggedy Row's coming.
Riggedy Row is coming. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, it's been fun.
Yes, sir.
Again, much more to come. We're so looking forward to it. If two people watch this and one of them is my mom, it's still a success, but I'd like to see more people watch it. And yeah, we're excited to tell you our retail journey. Just
If
excerpts
if
from the
your
retail journey.
if your mom watches some of these, we may have to like send her an edited, unabridged version.
My mom will not be watching certain episodes of this for sure.
Like, mom, steer clear of this episode
What happened
specifically.
to episode 8? It does not exist, Mom. It doesn't exist.
How are you going to get into her phone and delete episode 6 from her being able to see it?
Not a problem. She can't open an email, so we're good. All right, brother. We got 2 minutes left. Any final thoughts?
No, I'm just excited to do this somewhat regularly. We're gonna have to, now that we've done this, we're gonna have to figure out a schedule and
Oh,
a
we're in
yeah.
there. We're in there. It's not stopping, so can't stop, won't stop.
Won't stop.
Stop.
Uh.
All right, I think we'll end it there, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man.
More fun times to come.
Oh yeah, definitely so.
All right.
All
We're out of
right.
here.
Later.